Hello everybody, welcome back. I've actually joined a standard league here. What that means is that I'll be playing 5 standard matches at my convenience. They don't have to be subsequent or anything like that. And depending on how well I do, I will get a better payout the more matches I win. Unfortunately, this is actually my second match. I didn't realize until the first match had concluded that my recording software needed an update. But here we are in match 2. Just about to start, and I think this is a keeper. Gonna go ahead and keep it. Our opponent's mulliganing. We're on the draw. We've got our lands for a couple of turns, a Stasis Snare, and Demonic Pacts to close out the game. Hopefully we just find a couple of answers to them, Angelic Pacts and whatnot. Probably gonna start with the Vent and then Evolving Wilds, but we'll see what we draw. One quick note, I changed the sideboard ever so slightly. I switched out the Dark Petition for a Transgress the Mind. I'm not sure if that's the right call, but the Transgress, I think, gives me just a little bit more power against Planeswalker heavy decks and control decks, which I think are some of the two hardest decks to play against with this one. So let's dive into this match real quick. Haven't actually seen this card played against me yet. 2-1 for 1, and extremely aggressive card, that's for sure. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and start things off with the Shambling Vent. Sunken Hollow. We want to get 2 basics down as quickly as possible. So that it will enter untapped on turn 4, most likely. Let's see what our opponent has for the following turn. So 2-1 for 1, he loses 1 life unless he controls another colorless creature. So a red-black aggro deck from the looks of it. Another Starfield, not exactly what we wanted. I'm going to go ahead and play the plains, and I think I'm going to find a swamp here. We've got the untapped plains, and then after that, the Sunken Hollow. So we're going to be taking a bit of damage here. A red-black aggro deck that's not vampires. This will be very interesting to see what else we have coming our way. Alright, so presumably we've got a follow-up. If we could find a Flaying Tendrils, actually, that makes me reconsider. I think oh, never mind, I'm going to find a swamp. As I mentioned, with the Evolving Wilds, mix that up for a moment. A Flaying Tendrils would be nice to clear off 2 of these creatures, and that would shrink the Vile aggregate down somewhat. So I'm going to go ahead and find a swamp. And we found another, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and I think Stasis Snare, most likely either the aggregate or the sludge crawler. If he invests his mana into pumping the crawler, then I'll certainly scoop that up, which will also mitigate some of the aggregate's damage. Power equal to the number of colorless creatures, including itself. So a red-black Eldrazi deck. Presumably that means there are Thought-Knot Seers and maybe Reality Smashers coming our way soon. Thankfully not this turn, just yet. An Endless one for 3. It's not terrible. So I think we're going to get the Vile Aggregate here. Saves us the most amount of damage. And then next turn we can play Demonic Pact and start hopefully recouping some of our health. 3-3 and taking 3 this turn. Our opponent is down to just 1 card. Alright, Silumgar's command's pretty good. We lost an Angelic Purge to the Ingestion. So we could hold up the Shambling Vent, but I think we just want to get a pact down right away. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, and next turn we might have to hold up the Silumgar's command to destroy the endless, or to -3/-3 the endless one and bounce the crawler or something. But we'll see what he has. If we can just get the packs down and start dealing 4 and gaining 4, drawing cards, and then with an Angelic Pact or something, get packs into the graveyard for a Starfield to bring back, we'll be in excellent shape. So taking a bit here. He might pump twice, seeing that we're tapped out. Nope, he's got another one coming. He digested our Sorin. Another Vile Aggregate. Alright, that might be getting bounced here. Alternatively, I could, let's see, I could deal 4 damage to the aggregate. And then if I can remove one or more of his creatures with the Silumgar's command, then that would finish off the aggregate by reducing... Oh, never mind. Excuse me. That would not work, as its toughness is set at 5. Its power fluctuates depending on the number of colorless creatures, so that is incorrect. I'm just going to deal 4 and gain 4 off the Endless one. And then I think we're going to use Silumgar's command here to do some bouncing on the aggregate and killing likely the sludge crawler. So we'll still be looking for an answer to our own Demonic Pact, regrettably. It's a very interesting deck, though. Curious what else might be coming our way. This is also nice, though, holding up our mana. I don't know if he can afford to attack with the Reaver and the Sludge Crawler, knowing that we could just animate a Shambling Vent. If he does attack, then that makes me think he has some sort of cheap removal spell. Either the sort of the charm effect that can, I think, give -1/-1 to a creature, or an actual burn spell or something. So I think here I'm just going to bounce the aggregate. I'm going to wait and move to damage, actually. See how much mana he pours into the Sludge Crawler. Alright, that's 2. And another. That's excellent news. Alright, so with that, we can bounce the aggregate -3/-3 of the Crawler. We're only going to take 2 damage. He can't even replay the aggregate. We're doing this in response, as he has no way to pump this out of range or anything, to my knowledge. So I think this is going to work out nicely, actually. And we could get his aggregate out of his hand right now. I think we will do that. So we're going to have him discard his hand. We really need to find an answer to our pact. Hopefully one besides Anguished Unmaking, as the life loss could end up being a real problem here. Let's see what he discards, though. I think it would have to be a removal spell in addition to the aggregate. I can't imagine why he would have attacked with both last turn, knowing we had the Shambling Vent. We would have killed a creature and gained 2 to offset the 5 or 6 we were going to take. Yeah, so it was a reality hemorrhage. He was ready to shock our Vent down after trading a creature for it. Alright, so with all that in mind, we could play the Starfield with not much gain. We could play the Pact, because we know we're going to draw 2 cards next turn, and one of them has to be an answer to the Pact. We could have another Pact down to draw an additional 2 cards, because it's all or nothing next turn. We have to find an answer, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Play this Evolving Wilds, so we can draw as many as 5 cards next turn. Hopefully that's enough to get us out of here. We're looking for a Silumgar's Command, or an Angelic Purge, or a Disperse even. I'd be happy with any. Alright, that's a big problem. So at the beginning of the end step, he has to have another colorless creature or return it to the hand. So it's going to stay. We really need to find a board wipe and a bounce spell, or an Angelic Purge, or something that deals with both our Demonic Pact and that Stalker. For cheap. Because we are going to 1 life here. So let's go ahead and find the plains, I guess. Take our beating here. And alrighty, so let's see how we want to stack this. The first one here, we want to draw our cards first, which means we want to use this pact. Unfortunately, we have to use it now before we decide which mode to use before drawing the 2 cards. So the question is, do we want to draw 4 cards here, or draw 2 cards and deal 4, gain 4? Dealing 4 to the Stalker and gaining 4 gets it off the table and buffers our life total enough that we can survive a hit from the Reaver Drone, but we'd still die to another hasty Eldrazi. Whereas if we manage to draw a bunch of cards, but not gain any life, we're still in big trouble. So I think what I want to do here is deal 4 and gain 4. So it doesn't particularly matter which order I pick. I'm going to deal 4 to the Smasher, or the Dusk Stalker, and hope to find a Disperse or something like that. Bounce our Pact and replay it, or just hold up the Shambling Vent. Alrighty, so unfortunately we drew the Languish, which is what we wanted to answer both of those, but we have no answer to the Demonic Pact, so we are done. So let's see, for sort of evaluating in the future what we might have drawn if we had chosen the Pact version. We would have drawn an Unmaking and a Stasis Snare in addition to what we have, so we wouldn't have actually been able to cast the Unmaking without dying, since we did not gain enough life. So either way, we were dead, unfortunately. Keeping the 2 packs, we had to give up our Silumgar's command earlier. It was regrettable. Alright, but I like our chances in the sideboard here, games 2 and 3, assuming we get to them. So, question is, which cards exactly make the cut? I didn't see any tokens, so the Virulent Plagues likely stay out. But I could definitely see bringing in the Bloodcurse Knights, possibly a Dragonlord Silumgar, although not likely, and maybe some Dispels for any burn to finish us off after stabilizing. If we can just get a couple of Bloodcurse Knights out, one at the very least, we should be alright. But I'm going to go ahead and, I think, favor the Sorin over the Dragonlord. Just being able to instantly kill a creature and gain life, I think, is better than tentatively mind controlling one. So we need to cut 3 cards to the Bloodcurse Knights. I think I can afford to cut 1 Starfield and perhaps 1 Anguished Unmaking, and then 1 more card to make room for the Knights. Might be able to actually shave a land here as well on the play. It's a little dicey going down to 24, however. So with that in mind, actually, I think I'm just going to take out the Disperse here. I think we can do better than that. None of those really are too appealing to bounce back to hand, and we just will be more careful when playing with Pact since we cut 2 answers to it. But bringing in the Bloodcurse Knights for sure can block and gain a handful of life. I think makes them easily worth it. So I think this is what we're going to roll with. We're going to move on to game 2. Stay tuned.